So, because when I do this at home when I make it, sometimes I'll let the butter get a little bubbles on, you know, like it gets a little warmer, not like that, and then start putting it in. Is that okay?
Well, you're using whole butter then. Huh?
I just like the way it tastes.
It's fine.
And are you using regular all-purpose, or are you
Yep.
because we have it use cake?
Yeah, I'm just using whatever they had in there. I didn't even look. Just flour. Just grab the flour. So you can use any kind of flour, actually. It's just, in theory. All right, so you got a fairly thick paste. So I'm going to turn on the flame. Now, you should take your time doing this, but that would be boring for you, so I'm just going to go a little on the faster side. So I've mixed this up. It's a raw roux here, and the first thing I'm going to do is, you know what, that's not enough. I'm going to make more.
So at this point, you're going to keep cooking this till the floury taste is out?
Nope.
And you go on or what?
No, this is just making the roux.
Oh.
Make lots of roux. Since I'm making all 3 roux, I need to make more. Because I'm going to pour off. As I reach each stage, I'll pour off. And then you can compare them after the fact. Now,
You barely have the heat on, Chef?
I just have the pilot right now until I get it all mixed up. Then I'll start cooking it. I want to get the right consistency before I start cooking it. Now in the slide it said 60-40. Well, that depends on what kind of flour you're using. And it's hardly anything you have to sit there and precisely measure. You just go for consistency. Alright, meanwhile, the fish I'm going to be cooking in this sucker over here. And what's this pan called?
The brazier?
Yeah, that's a brazier, or what's the other word for it?
Starts with an R.
Starts with an R. Rondo. It goes right there on the tip of my tongue.
Reneau's a little coarse.
Reneau is a little coarse.
Rundu. My rundu.
Alright.
It's what plants crave.
Rondo.
Yeah, it's what cows crave.
What do you guys speak of plants from? It's an electrolyte.
Yeah, whatever. Alright, so I'm going to start cooking this. Okay, so my first, I turned on high heat. You guys should cook it lower and slower, but time is money, so.
Are we going to be making stock even though we really don't have time?
Not in here, but in your other classes, yeah, you will be. You'll be making lots of stock. You know that. All those onions and carrots you were cutting up, turn them into stock. Okay, so my first roux is a white roux, and I'm going to do that. So that's about 3 to 5 minutes, and I'm cooking it to, I'm guessing around 180, 200 degrees. So like I said, it still has a little bit of latent moisture in it, just from the atmosphere, right? So it's thickened a little. And that is okay because we're using it primarily in bechamel, And bechamel, the liquid is what? What's the liquid in bechamel? Milk. And milk has a little bit of body already. So it's already a little bit thickened. It already has some solids in it. So it kind of evens out. Where veloute, which I use blonde roux for, is from stock. And while it might be solid when it's cold, when you melt it, it's very liquidy. So it needs a lot of thickening.
So the browner you darker you do get this roux, it does have a like a it does get a like a nutty.
Yeah,
flavor
it's
to
a
it.
nutty. You'll see when I get there. Okay, so I've been doing this for about 3 minutes, 3-4 minutes.
I do this when I make
So I'm going to take off some of my white roux because I've got to make a bechamel. Now I'm going to go cook it to my blonde roux stage. Now I'm going to get it up to about 250, 260, 70 degrees. So once I get past that magic number of what? What's the boiling point?
12.
What's going to happen to the moisture? And look, it's bubbling. See, it's doing a little bubbling. And you'll notice, if it works, this should thin out a little bit. Now we talked about how it has a soft shine, so you can flip things. Pardon me?
Kind of looks like grits.
Kind of. Except there's no corn in here.
Lensa.
So I'm driving off all the moisture at this point. It's bubbling away. Now when you start getting into the blonde, and especially when you get in the brown, we're talking about very high temperatures, and this stuff sticks like glue. So you don't want it on you. It will burn you very smartly.
A lot.
My favorite CIA story.
Do you have any tomatoes?
Yeah, some over there.
Thanks.
My favorite CIA story. When I was a line cook at Hyatt, I was up at the restaurant making a brown roux. And I had a big frying pan. And, you know, of course, when I was making brown roux, slow and this guy was a sous chef. Thought he was God's gift to cooking. Was constantly telling everybody how, man, that sucks. I could really do that better. You should do this, da, da, da. Which is, you know, whatever. But he had this nasty habit of always. So, anyway, we had this big long line up in the upstairs restaurant, and I was sitting there with like a 14-inch hotel saute pan cooking roux. And I had a real slow. When you're doing roux, you know, you have it like there, and then you come by every couple minutes and stir it. So here I'm going to do. Okay, we're blonde. See, it has a little consistency difference. See that difference between there? All right, so I'm cooking my brown roux, and it got to getting nice, nutty, and you'll smell it in a minute. And sure enough, the person came by, sorry, and he's going like this. Don't do it! And he's, Wrote me up.
Wrote you up.
Wrote me up.
Wow.
But after he left screaming and yelling at me, everybody came up.
I'm kind of confused as to what you did wrong in that situation.
Exactly.
Well, so he wrote me up. And, you know, the chef called me in. Larry, what's going on? You never get written up. What's going on? You know. And I said, well, why don't you? Well, I don't know what he said. So why don't you read? Starts reading the report. Looks at me. Have a nice day.
Nice.
Because he knew what a jerk. I think he's out selling used cars now.